What is up, everyone? It is DJ Martini Midwest Reviews coming at you with another video for my channel today. I have a really good one on a couple things from Hercules and Djuced, so I want to get into all of it in one video. It might go a little bit long, so bear with me. Sorry if it does, but that's kind of what I do. I like to chatter a little bit and just give my opinion on all these topics. So thank you so much for tuning in to DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. If you've never tuned into DJ Martini, just know I love to do review videos, look at valued items, do all that research for you so you don't have to, give it to you as easy as possible, and then leave some links in case you're interested in some of the products or whatever I talk about. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please join this Martini Nation. We are steadily growing, super exciting. I want you to all be there as we grow, and just thank you so much for all the great feedback and everything like that. Let's get into the video because I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about, and let's start talking about the Djuced software 0.0.1. It is out. They have released the full software of stems. It's not a beta anymore. I had the beta. I did a video on it, so check that video out. It's going to have more information on how the program reacts and actually looking at it on a computer. And I was actually using a different computer in that video, and I'm using a completely different computer in this video for the actual stems release. I tested it on the other one as well, but I just wanted to say they still have some issues with their stems, and they still have some issues with that stems program, in my opinion. So we're going to talk about that today. Also, I wanted to talk about kind of the pros and cons of the Djuced software. So if anybody's interested in getting the Djuced software, kind of like the pros and cons on it if you're a beginning DJ and you're kind of looking into it. So we'll talk about that a little bit as well. And then also I want to talk about that DJ Control Inpulse T7. So we're going to go ahead and start with that right away. And just to get that out of the way, I wanted to talk about it though because it looks pretty cool. So you can see I popped up the Hercules page at hercules.com, just looking on up, and it'll pop up to one of these pages, or the product page will pop up. And once you get there, here's that DJ Control Inpulse T7. It looks fantastic. It has realistic materials, metal platters. It's going to have, that top plate, the slip mat, things like that, the vinyl. So it's going to feel like a 7-inch platter with two turntables and a mixer in the middle. And you have a full FX mixer with your full EQs. You have highs, lows, mids, a filter knob. You have the main gains up there. You still have your assistant knobs, which are kind of weird for each channel. That's a little bit different than some of their other controls, but still cool. So you have their assistant knob, their prep knob, back range, key lock there, it looks like. And then you also have long tempo faders, which is good. You want those to do really accurate beat matching when you're trying to do that. So those are fantastic. So you also have great up faders and a crossfader. You're going to have 8 pads. Looks like they're going to be RGB. You have your play pause with a shift and a sync knob there. So you do have 8 pads and 8 modes that you can go into via shift. So you have 4, and then you can shift into the other ones as well. So this is only a 2-channel controller. It does have decent outputs, but not that many. Basically, you're going to have like an RCA out, I think. So yes, you're going to have 2 pairs of master outputs you're going to have an RCA, and you're going to have XLRs. You're going to have the headphone inputs, a microphone input, and the audio resolution is 44.1 at 24-bit. So you have quick platters that start up fast. They're going to have good torque and those types of things. So here is my problem with this controller. The price point is fantastic. It's going to be about $699, $650, somewhere in there. And that's a really good price for this type of controller. Anything else you look out there is way more expensive than this controller. So it's going to be a great price for DJs who are interested in this type of controller with motorized platters. Unfortunately for me, this controller doesn't work for me because it doesn't have a third auxiliary input like their DJ controller Impulse 500. And I'm going to go back to that one really quick. Their Impulse 500 right here has a third auxiliary channel, which you can plug in. You have your 2 channels, your 2 platters here, everything else, but it has another extra channel that you can plug in some kind of auxiliary source. which is fantastic. That's what I need as a mobile DJ. I definitely want that in my controllers if possible, if I can find that. And so the T7 just doesn't meet my criteria. If it had an extra channel, I would be pre-ordering it right now, but it just doesn't. And so that's unfortunate. It's sad because I really wanted to get it, honestly, but it just doesn't make sense for me when the Impulse 500 does everything I need and, it has that extra channel to fix my problem. And so, like I said, I have other controllers that I could use for that third channel. I have other controllers that have motorized platters if I want that type of controller. So, it just doesn't make sense for me to get it. I'm not a person that just jumps on controllers because they look cool, they're the hottest thing out there just to get another controller. I need thing that I need controllers that are form and function. They're going to help me DJ and they're going to meet the criteria I need to be a better DJ. And so, unfortunately, I'm not going to go for the T7. I really wanted to, but it's just not a controller for me. But if you are out there looking for a motorized platter at a great price, most beginning DJs might be looking into this because it is a two-channel motorized platter controller that has some great features and also going to have that stem capability as well with their Djuced software. If you're looking into some of those things, it might help, but that third channel really affects how I am going to choose not to pick it up. So all right, enough with that, but let's tell me what you guys think. Does that affect anything? Would it be cooler if it had a third channel auxiliary port that you could, import in? Or, do you just like that it's, a great price point for what it is, a motorized platter controller, two-channel uh, controller? So, what do you think? Let me know if you guys kind of want to talk about it a little bit. All right, the next thing I want to get into is the actual Hercules kind of just stepping up their game to keep up with other softwares is fantastic. I really love it. I messed with Hercules a long time ago, along with Virtual DJ, because they were both free softwares. And so I really liked that I could learn about DJing through these softwares, and both of them are fantastic. I will admit I am more of a virtual DJ guy, but I've always loved to just mess around with Hercules because I thought it was a great opportunity to play with free software, use it, but they keep getting better. They keep adding a lot more stuff. They have a DJ Academy where you can look at all kinds of great tutorials to teach you how, beat matching, all kinds of things. They talk about their controllers and what extra things you can do with different controllers, mastering techniques, just all kinds of great stuff on their page. So they're really stepping up their game, which I really do like. Also, if you make an account, you can download all kinds of free tracks. They have a Hercules collection here with 50 tracks a month. You can download samples for free. You can do a lot of this stuff for free. You just have to make an account with them. And so it's really exciting how they're really just trying to be open with the public and teach people how to be DJs. You can do that when things are free because it just makes it easy. So I really appreciate that from Hercules. So thank you so much, Hercules, for all the bonus content, the training, making great controllers. I love their products. Their hardware and controllers is fantastic. So I really, really like it. All right. So enough with that. Let's make an account, sign up, get some of those free samples, some of those free tracks. They're actually pretty decent tracks to mess with. So we'll talk about those a little bit more when I get into the software now. Now, their software, on the other hand, although it is free, I do love what they're doing with it. Okay, I love that they're trying to compete with the STEM market. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this. We're going to go ahead and just open the program. So I have the new release Djuced 0.1, which is their final product with stems in it. It's not a beta anymore, it's their final product. So I think they made some improvements, a little peppier. If anybody saw my last video, they knew it was ridiculously slow for me to use and it was very frustrating. So I think they made some improvements, but it's still slow in my opinion. So I'm going to show you that still. But I'm using a DJ Control Instinct. It's just a little mini controller that I just mess around with to show things like this and also just mess around with the software if I just need to test things out. And so I do have an Impulse 500. Like I said, I use that with Virtual DJ actually, and it's fantastic. But I don't use it with the Djuced software. I don't use the Djuced for gigs, and we're gonna get into why here. Let's talk about these tracks here. So I have some free tracks. So let's go to my playlist here. I just want to say these Hercules sample selections, and also they have bass and drum, EDM, French house. They have some desktop backgrounds that you can put up. These sample selections and their collection of music for the month here pop up just a bunch of songs here. These are all free. You can get them, just have to make an account with an email and a password, and you can get some of these downloads for free. So absolutely a great thing to do. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my Explorer, go back to my free YouTube music here, because I do want to show a few things here. So I'm going to show you here that it is loading. I'm going to go to the stems section here. Stems, you just have to go to this right here and go to stems. Now, there's a blue line. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a blue line underneath the track showing that it's still analyzing for stems. Now, the track is ready to go. I can play it. So I'm going to go ahead and play this real quick. So it is playing. Stems will work, no problem. But it is just a little bit slow. They did improve the speeds. I am happy that I think it's a little bit snappier. It's still a little not snappy enough, you know. So I'm going to load this track, and I've already analyzed this a few times, but it's still, they still took about, I don't know, 2 to 3, 4 seconds for it to load. And I have other softwares like Virtual DJ and Serato where it's almost instant that the tracks pop up and they're ready to go. There's nothing that you have to do. They're ready to go. This one's still analyzing for stems. So I'm gonna try to find a track here that maybe I haven't downloaded at all. Let's do this one here. So this one I have never downloaded. It's snappier, definitely, but it still took just a couple seconds. So I'm not gonna hate on them, but it's just a little bit slow for me. Now, I'm not saying it's unusable, but it's just not reliable in my opinion. So sometimes some tracks load slower than others. And so far right now, what I've been showing is there's one of the tracks that's taking a little bit longer. Now you see that? See how the other tracks loaded pretty quick, but that track is still taking, oh my God, it's still a long time. It's still not letting me use any of these stems. So that track maybe took, I would have to say about 8 to 10 seconds, okay? So that is too long to wait for a track to load, okay? And so that's my biggest pet peeve, and I'm glad I got to show that some tracks loaded pretty quick, but that track took a long time to load. And if you're doing things on the quickness and all that kind of stuff, you need those tracks to load faster than they are, okay? All right, so let's go to hopefully a song that has some words in it. Let's see if I can find something here. Play this track. Oh, it's instrumental, no. Let's do this one right here. I know this has some words in it. All right. So I just tried to throw a bunch of tracks up there, and now it's. Did it freeze? This would be a great example if it froze. I don't think it did. I think I loaded the wrong track. All right. All right. So that track popped up. The other one was taking a little bit longer, but everything popped up, so we're good to go. It didn't freeze. Everything's good to go, but still was taking a little longer. All right. This does have words in it. I am controlling this with the controller right now, so everything in the controller works.
But you're everything I want in life. We're fighting danger like kung fu. The love I feel is deep inside. The others don't matter. It's honestly us against the world. We're the perfect team. You're my dream, and I just want it.
So this is the bass. I always think the bass and the drums sound good.
else can love you better. I'm here just to treat you right. You're the reason I'm alive. You're the only pain I can endure. When you're not here, you're my
All right. So just to summarize that, there was a little bit bleed through. So we had a little bit of bleed through, and there also was some vocals that just didn't sound right. So it sounds a little bit digital. So that's something that I don't like about the Djuced software is that the vocals sound a little digital. Now, some songs sound better than others, but this one definitely sounds a little bit digital. The beginning sounded okay, but you kind of heard a little part right after with the chorus that it just didn't sound right. And I think that's a problem with the Djuced software is that the melodies and vocals just don't sound right. The bass and the drums sound great, but the melodies and the vocals just aren't doing it for me at the moment. So that's pretty much the update is stems itself. They added a bunch of stems. You can use stems on all the tracks and, stems works. It's just not great in my opinion, okay? And it's kind of unreliable sometimes with how fast tracks load and how fast the stems load. You just don't know how it's going to react, which is the unreliable part. Some tracks are fast and some tracks are slow, and that's the part that could hit you if you're trying to do a gig and you need snappy, feedback from your equipment and your software. So all right, let's quit that out. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about with the Djuced software. They do have it out. Finish it up with the pros and cons of what we just kind of talked about Djuced software. The software itself is great that it's free. It's a great value. I love that it's free and you can do all kinds of stuff. It has sample modes, it has slicers, it has, all these great features that most softwares have, but it's free. So you can play around with it as much as you want, and that's what I like about Djuced. Beginning DJs can start getting into it. They have all kinds of tutorials and tracks. They have all kinds of free items that they're giving away right now, all kinds of free downloads for music and samples and things like that. So that is a great plus from Hercules right now. And that's kind of why I like, and I'm putting this video out, is because they're definitely trying to get more into the market with these other softwares like Serato, Virtual DJ, Tractor, Record Box, things like that. And so I think they still have a lot of work to do because, like I said, they got to really fix how their software analyzes things, in my opinion. And everybody let me know what you think. I'd like to hear more feedback on this from all the Djuced fans out there of, do you gig use this and is it really snappable? What kind of computers do you use? Things like that. I don't use Mac computers, so maybe Mac runs the Djuced software a lot better. I'm not sure. But for the most part, I think it's just a little bit unreliable when it comes to loading tracks. And like I said, the stems, the the melody and the vocals are sometimes sound really digital. They don't sound right. I can't explain how they don't sound right sometimes, but they just sound really digital to me. And sometimes they fade in and out, and they're not, cohesive a sound. You might hear like almost like an echo effect on some, and it's just kind of weird how the vocals and melody sound sometimes. So definitely a negative for me on some of those aspects. But my negatives is just the software is a little bit unreliable, a little bit slow, and just unreliable because it doesn't load tracks the same. Some tracks load decently fast and some tracks take, a lot longer. It could take, 8 to 10 seconds, which is just unreasonable when you're in a gig and you need tracks loaded up quick. Who would I recommend Did software to? Well, if you're a beginning DJ, this is an absolute awesome possibility that you can get all this information, all this software for free. You can use it on your laptop for free. If you get a basic controller, you can get a basic controller like their control DJ control or even a Starlight for under $100, and you can be using their software and having full capabilities with it. So that's really easy to start with. You could, get one of their smaller controllers for under $100, and boom, you're off and running using the software and learning how to DJ. So that's a great, free software and $100 controller. That's a great way to start off. So definitely from that point of view, this is a great software for beginners to learn on. And I think that's what I would use it for. I don't gig use it because, like I said, I don't think it's ready to be gig used, in my opinion, for what I do. But if there's people using it flawlessly out there, please let me know. I'd like to hear more content and more feedback about what you're using on Mac or Windows, or how you're using it and things like that. I think I could use it for like maybe a wedding gig where I'm playing full songs. I'm not doing a lot of mixing. I could probably do it for that, or even background music if I was doing those types of gigs. I could probably use the Djuced software and I'd feel safe about it. But for a little bit more mixing, uh, those types of things, I would be a little bit hesitant about using it with the speeds of the songs and things like that. All right, a lot of information. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think. DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. Thanks for tuning in, and please stay tuned for the next tutorial or video that I come out with real soon. Hit that bell notification so you know when it comes out, and I'll check you really soon on the next video. Later.